It's a raccoon with a talk show slinging culture facts you might not know. From the biggest flops to the greatest hits, this is Trash Can Tidbits.
Hey everyone! Welcome back to another fun installment of Trash Can Tidbits. Before I begin, I just want to say that the response to this series has been wonderful, and I'm so happy everyone has been having a fun time seeing it. I'm a very humble raccoon, so thank you so much. I have a lot of fun with my pop culture knowledge and passing all this useless trivia on to you. Okay, maybe it's not that useless, but it is fun to talk about. So let's get on with the facts. Fact 1. Did you know that there is a sly reference to another film and its Western remake for the 2016 version of The Magnificent Seven? In that movie, which itself is a remake of the classic Akira Kurosawa film The Seven Samurai, there is a Native American character who joins the titular group named Red Harvest. That is actually the name of a 1929 novel by Dashiell Hammett, and among the famous film versions of that novel are Akira Kurosawa's classic samurai movie, Yojimbo, and its Western remake, A Fistful of Dollars, starring Clint Eastwood. Fact 2. Did you know the original title for Star Wars Return of the Jedi was actually Revenge of the Jedi? It in fact stayed that way throughout filming until it was pointed out before the movie was released that Jedi do not take revenge on their enemies. In the video game BioShock Infinite, one of the time tears that can be seen pays homage to this, as a French movie theater marquee can be seen advertising La Revanche du Jedi, French for, what else? Revenge of the Jedi. Fact 3. Did you know that the 1910s period music heard prominently in BioShock Infinite was composed by Scott Bradley, a musician who notably does popular song covers that would sound like if they were recorded in the old days of the 1930s and before that era. Among some of the song covers heard in the game are a period piece version of Cyndi Lauper's Girls Just Wanna Have Fun and a barbershop quartet version of God Only Knows by the Beach Boys. Bradley also voices the character Albert Fink in the game, and he has since taken all that music know-how and created a popular music video franchise and live show called Postmodern Jukebox, where he and his band of jazz musicians and dancers perform covers of famous songs from artists ranging from Guns N' Roses to Sam Smith. Fact 4. Did you know that the now famous Mortal Kombat theme song heard in the first movie and throughout the overall franchise was created by famous guitarist Ryan Patrick Carroll? Now, that name may not be familiar to you at first, but Carroll's on-stage persona is. He's better known as Buckethead. Fact 5. Did you know that the fighting game series Tekken references the very tournament the games are centered around? In Japanese, the word Tekken means Iron Fist, and the fighting tournament the games are centered around is called the King of Iron Fist Tournament. Fact 6. Did you know the film version of West Side Story remains the only film credit for renowned Broadway choreographer and director Jerome Robbins? He shared directing duties with Robert Wise, who would later go on to direct The Sound of Music. Robbins unfortunately was fired before the film even finished because he spent too much time with the big dance numbers, and as such the film ran over budget. He mostly directed the dance numbers while Robert Wise directed basically everything else. Ironically, even though Robbins was fired, he did end up winning an Oscar for Best Director, which he also shared with Robert Wise. Fact 7. Staying with West Side Story for this next fact, did you know that 2 songs in the score were actually switched for the movie, requested by the song's composer, Stephen Sondheim? The songs Cool and G Officer Krupke were, according to Sondheim, in the wrong places, because in the stage show, Cool is sung in the first act before the two gangs meet to discuss plans for the Rumble, and G Officer Krupke is sung after the Rumble in Act 2. Because the latter song is a rather funny song and would not be technically sung after the Jets have witnessed 2 murders, which they would have sung Cool instead, which would have been better given the circumstances. Sondheim got his wish when the movie was made, but the songs remain the way they are in the show. I have no idea why. Fact 8. Did you know that one of the 7 samurai, Toshiro Mifune, and one of the Magnificent Seven, Charles Bronson, appeared in a movie together? The movie, a 1971 Western called Red Sun, involves a Japanese samurai teaming up with a cowboy to find a stolen ceremonial Japanese sword. The unique team-up also featured former Bond girl Ursula Andress from Dr. No, and was in fact directed by former Bond director Terrence Young. Fact 9. Did you know that Julie Kavner, better known as the voice of Marge Simpson, as well as her sisters Patty and Selma, does not like to do the voice of Marge in public? This is due to her reluctance in not wanting to break the illusion. In fact, when the cast of The Simpsons was interviewed on Inside the Actors Studio in character, when interviewer James Lipton interviewed Kavner as Marge, she actually spent her portion while wearing a paper Marge mask, while the audience who was watching the show at home was treated to clips of The Simpsons playing over her. Fact 10. Did you know that Friends star Lisa Kudrow actually based her character Phoebe on her co-star Jennifer Aniston? This is due to Aniston being interested in spiritual subjects like reincarnation and art, and given the things that Phoebe does on the show, such as being a musician and an artist among others, and her kooky mannerisms, almost everything that Phoebe does on the show came from observing Aniston before the cameras rolled. It worked so well that Phoebe became the eccentric character on the show. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed this installment. I had a lot of fun compiling the facts for this week, and I hope to do it more. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share my videos. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.